Welcome to the Uncharted 4 gear tips and tricks. In this video we'll be giving you tips and tricks on every single gear inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer and try to find which one will best suit your playstyle. We will be taking a look at the in-game stats that are provided from the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and we'll also be looking at some tips that we found whilst playing the Uncharted 4 multiplayer that will help you with your favourite gear. Mostly everyone who plays this game uses their gear very often, so the very first tip I can give you is use Nimble Hands 2. This booster at level 2 provides you with the ability to drop gear whilst you're rolling and also throw the gear itself 25% further. This can be used very effectively if you have the spare loadout points in conjunction with the following tips. The first few tips we have relate to all of the gear inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. In essence, it relates to how you throw the gear. First up, we have what I like to call the blind toss. The blind toss is really good at getting away from enemies and escaping, or in the case of a revive pack or a mine, is trying to place it as quickly as possible without extreme accuracy. This overall is good for quickness if you're under pressure. Second is what I like to call the arc toss. This is the most accurate throw you can make in terms of the gear. When you need a pinpoint accurate revive pack placement, grenade placement, or even mine or C4 placement, this is the key one to go to. And you don't need to perform this behind cover, you can also do it while standing. Finally, we have the aim tosses, where you aim with your gun and throw your gear. This gives you the furthest distance in your throw, so if it is a teammate that's quite far away and you need to get the revive pack to them, or you're trying to get a grenade quite a distance across the map, the aim toss is your best friend. You can also master this to perform it very quickly. The first and most basic gear you unlock in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer is the grenade. This is worth 4 loadout points, and it is expected since this is probably the most useful gear inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. In the hands of a reasonably skilled player, or a player that's played Uncharted 3's multiplayer before, will actually know all the tips of this already. However, I'll cover them in this video as well. Starting off with the upgrade levels, the first upgrade gives you a faster resupply by 25%, the second upgrade gives you an additional grenade, and the third upgrade gives you a 35% faster resupply and a 15% faster detonation. The first upgrade will cost you $300 in in-game cash. Being my favourite gear in the game, there's no need to upgrade the grenade to level 3, I believe it's completely unnecessary. The extra 5% resupply is not needed, and if you know how to use the grenade, you don't even need the 15% faster detonation if you know how to use them. However, upgrading to level 2 is a must because having 2 grenades is way better than having 1. The first tip is the bank throw. Now how you use the bank throw is you hit it off any surface that's near your enemy and hopefully will get them depending on how you bank the grenade itself. Now you need to hit it at the correct angle, so by the time it actually reaches your enemy it's already detonated. And this is the most useful tip I can give you with the grenades, as it doesn't allow the enemies to escape the grenade. The second and final tip is the jumping toss. Now this is not as effective as it used to be in Uncharted 3 since the jumping animation was much better in Uncharted 3. However, it's still effective and you can sometimes get away with pulling it off. The jumping toss is very effective from when you're trying to escape enemies. There's multiple enemies in front of you, you just jump, you throw your grenade and you continue running away. The C4 is the most useless gear in my opinion. I don't find it to be useful at all, and the 2 loadout points is even worse. I wouldn't even recommend using it. I would actually recommend the smoke bombs because I actually find them more useful than the C4 and they're only worth 1 loadout point. Going through the upgrade levels, the first upgrade will grant you a 10% faster resupply and then it will detonate whilst you're down. The second upgrade level will give you a 25% faster resupply and detonation delay will be reduced by 50%. And then on the third upgrade level you'll get a stun on explosion and a 40% faster resupply. There is a time delay between when you drop the C4 and how long you have until you can detonate it. There is a couple of second delay there and you can't actually detonate it straight away as soon as you drop the C4 itself. If you were able to detonate this whilst you were actually throwing it, you could actually detonate it in the air, which could then potentially get you better kills and make it much more useful in my opinion. Like I said, you're unable to do that, so I don't really recommend it. The first tip we have with this is after level 1 upgrade, you can detonate it after your death. So if you're close to your C4 and an enemy just killed you, it will explode, and hopefully you can do some damage to your enemy. The blast radius on the C4 is not good at all, and you can't even upgrade it with the upgrade levels. so even though you have this equipped, it's still not going to be that useful. The good thing about the C4 along with mines is that if you see an enemy sitting next to their own C4, you can actually shoot at it and it would explode and then do damage to themselves. This is a really good way to get one-hit kills, and people are really not looking out for you shooting at their C4, especially when they're shooting at you. An upside for the C4 comparing them to the mines is that you can actually stick the C4 to floors and walls, so they don't need to be on the floor like the mine does, and that makes it harder to spot because they could potentially be on any wall in the game. Once again, the blast radius isn't good, so the enemy needs to be standing right next to the wall where you're going to be detonating your C4. A downside with the C4, it doesn't allow you to store 2 after the upgrades. With every other gear in the game, after you've upgraded it a couple of times, it allows you to store 2. However, with the C4, the regeneration time is actually much quicker. The mines are the most popular gear in the game, and it's very understandable why it is. It's worth 3 loadout points, so that's 1 loadout point less than the grenades. It can be recovered, which means you can pick it back up again once you put it down. That's along with the C4 as well. The difference between the C4 and the mine is that the mine detonates itself when an enemy's in the proximity, which means that you're definitely getting a kill with the mine. With the C4 you detonate yourself, and potentially the enemy might not even be close enough for you to kill them. Going through the upgrade levels for the mine, the first upgrade will grant you a 20% faster resupply, and the mine itself can't be marked by saviours. The second upgrade gives you a 30% faster fuse time, so once the enemy's in the proximity of the mine, it will actually detonate much quicker than before. Finally, the third upgrade will give you a mid-air explosion on detonation, it doesn't beep, and you can also carry an additional mine. Now, the mid-air explosion meaning that if someone tries to jump away from your mine, they're still going to get hit by it. The best tip I can give with a mine is that you really need to have good map knowledge, and you need to know where to place the mines to get the most out of your kill. You need to put them in busy areas of the map, also where no one can see them. I recommend also putting them next to treasure pickups because people like to get more money to spend in the in-game store. I recommend putting them near rope swings as well because that's usually the quickest way to get into the other side of the map. And finally, I'd recommend covering your flank with a mine as well. So if you know you're aiming down one side of the map and there's potential enemies coming up behind you, I recommend putting a mine down and it will cover your back. Another tip I see people do quite a lot with the mine is once you're downed and there's no teammates about, walk over to your mine and sit on it, so once an enemy does come over to try and execute you, they will be taken out with your mine. Mines are perfect for objective game modes, especially game modes like Plunder, and if you put it next to the Plunder box, it will explode on the enemy when they try and get near their box. However, don't do it too often because then it will be quite obvious they'll just shoot your mine. If you don't feel you've placed your mine right, you can always change it by picking up, pressing triangle. Finally, the mines don't get triggered by any of the sidekicks, so you're definitely guaranteed an enemy kill, and it doesn't get triggered by any of the AI in the game. But it will do damage to the sidekicks if they're in the blast radius. If you have a spare loadout point on your loadout, and you don't have any gear equipped, I definitely recommend a smoke bomb. If your favourite thing is flanking the enemies inside the Uncharted multiplayer, I highly recommend the smoke bomb. If you see a group of enemies in front of you, blind their sight with the smoke bomb and find a way to get around and behind them, and that way you can take out the full enemy team whilst your team along with the smoke bomb has distracted them. There only is 2 upgrades for the smoke bomb. The first upgrade will give you a longer duration which increases it by 50%, which is definitely very useful. Also it gives you a 15% faster resupply. Then the second upgrade will give you a 30% faster resupply and you get an additional smoke bomb. Now the first tip I want to give you with the smoke bomb is make sure you've planned your flank route out before you throw it. Now you've only got a little bit of time before the smoke bomb wears away, so you definitely want to be escaped, gone and behind the enemy whilst the smoke bomb's still there. Now it does last a decent amount of time, so you do have plenty of time to do that, and make sure you are close enough to the enemy so you can flank them. Another thing what you can do is if you do realise it might take you an extra bit of time, obviously if you have upgraded to the level 1 you'll get a 50% extra duration. However, what you can also do is you can throw 2 smoke bombs at the same time and double them up, and that would last even longer. So if you throw one, wait for a couple of seconds and throw the other one, then escape, you'll have plenty of time there to then get around behind your enemies. The bank throw still applies with the smoke bomb, so you can still use it here as it is less effective than it would be with a grenade. Now the thing with the smoke bomb is it will blind you and also your enemies, so if your enemy is smart enough, they can actually use your own smoke bomb against you and use that cover to then flank your team, which is what I tend to do when I play against other enemy teams and they have smoke bombs equipped. Only a skilled player would pick this up, and that is providing that the person who actually threw the smoke bomb didn't actually plan their attack beforehand. Everyone hates when the enemy team has multiple brute sidekicks, and this will actually stun any sidekick in the game, allowing them to be confused for the duration of your smoke bomb, and they won't actually know what to do. They'll basically be stuck in your smoke bomb for a couple of seconds, and it'll give you plenty of time to either escape or plan an attack route. So this means saviors can't save within a smoke bomb, this means snipers can't snipe within a smoke bomb, this means brutes can't shoot, and hunters can't run at you. As you can tell, for one loadout point, this is very effective, and more effective than the C4 in my opinion. Finally, we have the revive packs at 2 loadout points as well. This is highly recommended, once again, over the C4. Going through the upgrade levels here, the first upgrade will grant you a 15% faster resupply and an additional revive pack. The second upgrade will give you a 50% faster throw speed, which means it will get to your teammate much quicker, and a larger revive range. So if you somewhat miss your target, you should still be able to heal your teammate, or in that case you should be able to heal multiple teammates with the larger revive range. The third upgrade will then give you faster revive time, so it will revive your allies much quicker, and also it will revive your teammates back to full health, and it also gives you a 30% faster resupply. If you don't feel as if any of the gear is suited towards you and you have a spare 2 loadout points, I definitely recommend equipping this. It's similar to the Chintamani stone, however it does take a bit of time to revive your teammates. However, reviving your teammates is definitely very useful in keeping yourself alive and also getting the win. Communication here can be very useful. Grouping your teammates together when they're downed can then allow you to throw one revive pack and heal them all at the same time. So that is all the tips we have compiled in terms of all the gear in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. If you have any different tips of your own, feel free to leave them in the comments so other people can see them as well, and maybe we'll even compile those into another video of tips and tricks also. The next video we'll have out is a Mysticals guide, and that is our final video we'll have for the Uncharted 4 multiplayer up until the DLC releases this summer. Other games we're looking to cover is Battlefield 1 and also Gears of War 4 that we have planned so far. We'll definitely be covering any Uncharted DLC that releases in the future. A quick idea we had was PsychoEntertainment Live. Now what this would host is all our live streams, whether it be facecam multiplayer gameplay or even facecam campaign walkthroughs. We'll only make this channel if you guys want to see it, so if you can get this video up to 20 likes along with the rest of our videos, we'll hopefully create that channel as well. On that channel you will get to see more Uncharted 4 multiplayer content, and I thank you a lot for watching.